when my own son pressed $500 into my hand and told me I had until sunrise to leave. I didn't argue. His wife stood silently behind him, one hand resting on her pregnant belly, avoiding my eyes. "Please understand, Dad," he whispered. "She says seeing you every day makes her anxious. We need peace before the baby arrives, and honestly, you've become a burden." Those words shattered something inside me. I folded the money, slipped it back into his pocket without saying a word, picked up my old suitcase, and walked out of the house I had helped build. I had no idea that 9 months later, those same people would be standing at my front door, crying and begging for another chance. My name is David Parker, and everything I own once revolved around my son, Ethan. After my wife passed away from cancer, Ethan became my only reason to keep going. I worked double shifts as a mechanic for years, skipped vacations, wore old clothes, and saved every extra dollar so he could graduate from college without debt. When he married Emily, I welcomed her like my own daughter. I believed our family was growing. For a while, everything seemed perfect. Then little things began to change. Conversations stopped whenever I entered the room. Family dinners became awkward. Soon I was eating alone while they ordered food for themselves. Emily slowly convinced Ethan that they needed their own space. I ignored the signs because I loved my son too much to believe he would ever abandon me. One rainy evening, Ethan came into my room carrying an envelope. "I've put $500 inside," he said quietly. I smiled, thinking it was a birthday surprise. Instead, he looked away. "Dad, you need to leave." I stared at him, unable to speak. Emily appeared behind him. "The pregnancy has been stressful," she said. "Your presence makes me uncomfortable. The baby deserves a peaceful home." Before I could answer, Ethan added the sentence I'll never forget. "You're just a burden now." That night, I packed one suitcase. I kissed the family photo of my late wife, locked the front door behind me for the last time, and disappeared without creating a scene. I rented a tiny room on the edge of town. Life wasn't easy. I worked part-time repairing lawn equipment and bicycles, saved every dollar, and slowly rebuilt my life. For the first few months, Ethan never called. Not once. Then something unexpected happened. One of my old customers introduced me to a businessman looking for an experienced workshop manager. Within months, I had a stable income. A year later, I became a partner in the business. For the first time in years, I wasn't merely surviving, I was living with dignity. I bought a small but comfortable house. It wasn't luxurious, but every brick represented self-respect. 9 months after I had been thrown out, someone knocked on my door. When I opened it, Ethan and Emily were standing there. They looked exhausted. Emily held their newborn baby. Ethan's eyes were red from crying. "Dad," he whispered before falling to his knees. "I'm sorry." He confessed that after I left, medical bills had piled up. He had lost his job during company layoffs, and they had eventually lost their home. For months they had struggled alone. Only then did he realize everything I had quietly sacrificed throughout his life. Emily stepped forward with tears streaming down her face. "I judged you without knowing your heart," she said. "I was wrong. Please forgive me." For a long moment, I remained silent. The memories still hurt. No parent ever forgets hearing their own child call them a burden. Then I looked at my tiny granddaughter sleeping peacefully in Emily's arms. She was innocent. She had done nothing wrong. I invited them inside, not because they deserved another chance, but because I refused to let bitterness become the final chapter of my life. Forgiveness doesn't erase the pain. It simply prevents pain from controlling your future. That evening, we shared our first meal together in nearly a year. No one spoke much. Sometimes tears say more than words ever can. As I held my granddaughter, I silently thanked my late wife. She had always believed that love was strongest when it chose compassion over revenge. And at that moment, I finally understood what she meant. If this story touched your heart, remember this. Parents grow old, but the sacrifices they make never grow smaller. Never wait until regret is the only thing left to give. Love, respect, and gratitude should always be expressed while our parents are still here to hear them.